I tend to give people second chances as well. I became profitable within the first year. Entrepreneurship has made me more respectful. I really like talking to other traders. The owners of the company also need to have like a hands-on approach. So we are already preparing for the entry of regulations to this market. This industry is extremely young industry. Every person has a value and you have to be ready to work really hard. So any client you get, you try to do everything for this client.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the final part of our series dedicated to the founder of the trading pit, Illimar Mattus. In the previous episodes, we learned about Illimar's personality as a trader, and we learned how his trading journey was developing in time. But today, we're going to learn another side of Illimar, which is the business side. Hello, Illimar.
Hi, Elina.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to be here.
It's very exciting for me personally because I admire people who run their own businesses, because I believe it requires a lot of courage, a lot of self-confidence, and I don't know in what, a lot of stamina. Do you agree?
Probably yes. But I think everybody should try at least some entrepreneurial project or something. You know, it's great actually.
So you're a businessman. Is it everything you ever dreamt of, or the reality is not that polished as your imagination?
I think it's come out quite well because the companies where I'm still involved or have been involved, quite a number of them are very successful companies. So I think
Let's name them. So the trading pit.
so trading pit, then thick mill, which I started together with my brother 14 years ago. So it's one of the largest derivative focus brokers in the world today. I would say we're one of the top 10, 15 largest firms with 300 people working for that company, with 6 different licenses globally, and with tens and tens of thousands of active clients. So it's mostly algorithmic.
That's
So,
very impressive.
which algorithmic traders generally are the most sensitive towards the trading conditions. So the fact that we have so many of them means that we probably provide pretty good service to them. And then my third, let's say, project, a big company already is a investment company where I invest capital into different financial companies, brokers as well, asset managers, banks, and that sort of stuff. So like 3 pillars are holding me up night and day.
Oh, that's very impressive. From my point of view, you said that everybody can try business, but I think the hardest part, well, maybe one of the hardest part is to come up with a working idea. I would even say, like, to make this idea work, because there are plenty of ideas, right? But not everybody managed to take it to life. So how did you come with the idea for your first business, and why did you decide that it would work?
I think all successful businessmen, they have certain traits in them. And one big, let's say, important aspect is curiosity. So constantly being curious about like how certain processes work, or how certain businesses are run, or like what makes Apple a successful brand, or why like certain shop on one street becomes successful and the other doesn't become successful, even though they offer quite similar products. So this curiosity and kind of urge to find solutions has always been in me. And from really early on, the high school, for example, I used to organize dance nights at the school, and
Early business ideas from Illimar Mattus.
so and my brother as well. So and so we were doing these disco nights, and being DJ as well. being in front of the people and all this responsibility that, if the CD doesn't play, then you have like hundreds of people watching you, like, and so this sense of responsibility also. And it was funny that like I used to make a month more than my high school teacher made as a salary. And it was funny, So I think, yeah, these things like curiosity, constant interest to improve something, change something, see some opportunities, explore the world, explore the life, the businesses that are around us. I think that's like a key ingredient to become a successful entrepreneur in any field, really.
But from our previous interview, you said that you worked for an equity fund and you found an opportunity there to start your own investment company. Is that right?
Yes.
How did you see that this was a valuable proposition for the market? Because you already worked in the equity fund and you would become one of.
It's interesting that, some of the guys with whom I worked there, it was from 1998 until 2004, so 6 years. Some of the guys are still working there in the same fund management company. And I could have continued working there, and I could be one of them as well, 30 years in the same, 25 years in the same company. But I have always looked for independence, to be independent in my decision making and the challenge as well. So I think I'm this not maybe adrenaline junkie, but I like challenges and I like to solve puzzles. And business is to a large extent is solving a puzzle, how to make something better than others are doing it. And so when I had opportunity to start my own like financial advisory investment company, I just left the fund and just started this business. Just wanted to be independent, explore. Can I become successful? And I've always like read a lot of like success stories of other entrepreneurs, and it just inspired me. And you wanna kind of move in that direction yourself as well.
Yeah, since you mentioned that, was there any figure that you oriented to in terms of starting your own business?
There always have been. So it's like outside of Estonia, for example, like I've always admired, Warren Buffett, for example. I've always admired Steve Jobs. I've always admired Jeff Bezos, but before them already, I was reading books in Estonia about, let's say, some the founder of IKEA or Mark Rich, who was the founding guy, Glencore. So it's one of the largest commodities traders in the world. So they move real crude oil from one place to another. And I just read a lot of like stories and books about successful businessmen, and they just inspired me. And I wasn't really inspired about the money, and I think that's really like key difference as well. Because if you are only after the money, I think you will not reach success, because you're so fixated about the money. My interest was more towards like solving the puzzles and challenges and providing some service or product that is better, and getting this like appreciation from your clients or community around you, that okay, this guy actually created this thing, and it's like wow, it's from zero to hero, and
Yes.
this kind of process and recognition, and this is like my driving force. And I think it's because I come from a small village, and where you have limited potential, and you just want to like maybe show to the world that like something
What you
can
have.
come out from a small village and reach like a global success.
The people you mentioned, I think in terms of they weren't much of a businessman, but more like innovators, because they created something that hasn't existed before. Do you see this innovation part in yourself when you started your company? What was, let's say, your innovation and you later founded another two companies. So what was the innovative part that of your input?
The thing that I've struggled over the years is that, so my background is finance. What I'm constantly learning is really technology. So from technology perspective, there wasn't like this intention to, I didn't have so much capacity as well to like create something like overly new. But there was this motivation or interest to create something better than is currently out there. And so, for example, when we entered the brokerage business 14, 15 years ago, we always analyzed the current competitors, who are there, what are they doing, and where are they lacking. And then together with my brother, we tried to create a service, a company with products that are better than what is offered on the market. It didn't early stage necessarily mean that we had some like hardcore, some really innovative technology. Now we do, but at that time it just meant that we made less money using similar technologies and being more customer centric than most of the other guys, and providing just faster execution and lower prices in the market.
So recalling your first days as a businessman, do you remember how you had to change your personality or in general your lifestyle, because you worked as a full-time employee before, so how was it your first day converting into a businessman?
It teaches you a lot of responsibility, because when you work at some company, then you kind of always are expecting that, okay, next month you get salary, and regardless of what's happening around. And I remember like when I started in the business, I think it was, I went independent from the fund in 2004. So I had limited amount of capital on the bank account, and I was always thinking that, Jesus, this gives me like so much runway that I have to find business and clients and make revenues fast. Otherwise, maybe in 1 year I will run out. It just gives you so much like sense of responsibility. So any client you get, you try to do everything for this client, because you know that this client can be the cornerstone of your future success. So, for example, if we talk about the financial industry today, the largest asset manager in the world is BlackRock. And but it was a small company when it started. BlackRock became big when they landed General Electric pension funds as their client, and so hundreds of billions of dollars were trusted with them, and through this like first really big client, they started building this company, which today is like controls half of the world.
You mentioned because you were always in finances, were there any specific challenges starting a business in the financial sector?
When I started, life was much easier. The grass was much greener, and the sun was more warmer, and etc. Like, because there were not so much regulations. And today, anybody who wants to start, for example, a brokerage company or like a bank or any company in the financial industry, the regulations are so strict and that it's just painstaking sometimes to start this business. I'm not saying that like regulations is bad. I think to the contrary, because it kind of stabilizes the whole industry, because everybody has to play by the same rules. Clients can have this trust in the counterparties on the market, and it just makes the lower the cost of transaction, because you don't have to spend a lot of money insuring and over insuring and all of this stuff. The market itself, financial in the industry, is so robust that if somebody has a license, let's say from the UK FCA or some other like stronger regulator or banking regulator, you by nature already have this trust in this specific counterparty, but overall in the industry as well. So yeah, that was originally the struggle. And
so you mentioned that you had only this amount of capital to last when you left your job. So you remember how much time it actually take you to reach the profitable part, the profitable stage,
so when I started and in the early, so my first business was corporate advisory and like IPOs and mergers and acquisitions, this kind of advisory, where you can have like one single client and you can work on this client for 9 months, like preparation of all the documents and memos and stuff. And then eventually, when the company is sold or capital is raised, you get a percentage of this total, and you get like a big cut. But the problem with like a financial advisor is that you may have 10 projects at the same time, but 7 or 8 don't succeed, because somebody don't want to invest, or the entrepreneurs don't want capital anymore, or whatever. So this was the struggle that I had, but I became already profitable within the first year. And so the kind of the fear I had that, okay, what if I'm not actually going to make it, it went away like really, really fast.
Well, I would say 1 year, that's really fast pace of success. Do you have any tips or advice? Do you understand how you reached this success in such a short period of time?
I think really like success in business, it comes down to somewhat like simple things. So you have to be ready to work really hard, like 12, 14 hours, including the weekends. Oftentimes in the beginning, you have to really care for your clients, and you have to walk like an extra mile for your clients, that they feel that this specific company where they are, this company looks after them. Like, I think this is really, really key. You also have to have very like close monitoring of the cost, because a lot of the companies today, for example, and we have so many startups around, I think a lot of the startups, they don't have this like sense of responsibility that they are actually trusted, with a lot of money from the investors, and you should look after this money. And they are like much more relaxed that, hey, we are just a startup, we can buy this and we can buy that, and who cares, if we need money, investors will give us more money. So that doesn't work always. And my approach always in any business has been that super conservative with the cost, because the lower the cost you have, the more capital reserves you have, and the longer you can survive the markets.
Okay.
Like any business has like downtimes, has like successful times. Sometimes there are economic crises, so the lower your cost base is, the longer your runway, and the more competitive you are actually against your competitors, because some of them might be the startups that are throwing money left and right, and it's not sustainable.
Talking about crisis, despite this kind of like smooth development of your business, did you have a crisis moments, and how your companies overcome them?
It's interesting that with like the 3 main companies I have today, we haven't really had that, because again, like since inception, we've been always very, very conservative. But what we have had is like, let's say, regulatory changes when some big events are happening, or economic crises are happening, when suddenly, let's say, half of your revenues just disappears. So we definitely have had that, but you just have to continue fighting. And it's like with trading, one loss-making trade cannot convince you to stop. You just have to go ahead and thrive, and push forward.
Talking more about the practical side of business, business usually requires hiring people, starting team. You weren't a team leader before you started a business. So in my opinion, starting a team, taking responsibility for people as an employer, that's a really big challenge for any entrepreneur. What are your thoughts about it? Do you remember how you started to build your first team, and maybe you remember a moment when you disappointed your people, and how you overcome these challenges?
With any entrepreneurship, it's good when you grow like gradually. So let's say if I would take the companies where I'm involved today and go back like 20 years ago and put myself to run these companies, I think they would most likely fail. And so it's always like this gradual growth. And I remember like in the brokerage company Tickmill, when we hired the first employee, she's still with us after like 14 years. So I always thought that, but why is she actually joining us? Because we have nothing. It's like we had no team, we had not a lot of clients, and it was just like amazing.
Why did she join you? Did you ask her after all?
I think what people have felt with me in the companies is that because I have gone through like these processes of building companies before, I really appreciate the value of every single member of the team. And I understand where they come from. I understand that, every person sometimes, has some difficulties. Maybe you need to like help this person or etc. And I think over the years, what I've been told is that people generally value this, that I'm there for them. I'm just not like this, boss that, hey, you have to do that, and if not, you're gonna get fired. I mean, sometimes you have to fire people as well. It happens. But I tend to give people second chances as well, and it has proven right over the years. Not in all of the cases, but some of the cases that. Every person has a value, and sometimes when you hire a person, let's say for this job, he or she may not be the best for that one, but if you like switch the tables and put this person on a different job or responsibilities, this person might be the best hire you've ever had. So it's like this has worked well.
Again, like a puzzle, like you said before. You have businesses based mostly related to trading and to the stock markets. This is a very fast changing environment, I would say. Do you have to adapt your business strategies to the markets, like you adapt your trades, or it's not very related?
I think, of course, you have to adapt. So, for example, we are in the offices of the trading pit today. So this industry is extremely young industry, and it's evolving so much. And the product offerings are constantly being upgraded. There are new competitors coming to the market, new trading technologies, new marketing strategies, etc. So you constantly have to adapt. And I do believe that any company who stops adapting to the market conditions of this specific like industry, then eventually they will fail. So you constantly have to adapt.
Can you give a specific example, like what was the latest change you made because of the market evolution?
So, for example, in the prop trading business, a lot of the companies are very like focused on like certain platform or certain asset classes, and I know as a trader that generally you like to trade different asset classes. So what we are really working right now is that to constantly add like new trading platforms for the traders, and also add different asset classes. Because some trader, for example, today he might be really successful trading gold, but some market dynamic changes in gold, they want to trade, let's say, crude oil. And so we have to have the platforms to enter the markets and to trade the markets. We have to have accesses to the market to all of these different asset classes, and I think we are like one of on the leading edge on that. So we are really multi-asset prop firm. And then the other thing, probably what I would mention is that so even though in most of the markets prop trading today is not regulated, we think there will be some regulation down the road. So we are already preparing for the entry of regulations to this market. So we're doing already some licenses. I can't tell where, but we are adapting to the changes in the market.
Talking about the moment right now, how do you participate in your businesses now that they're already quite independent, they're generating profits? Do you still actively participate in everyday work processes? What maybe you have a designated role in each of the companies?
In the larger companies where I'm involved, so that's primarily the three companies I mentioned earlier. So Tickmill, my this investment company, and Trading Pit as well. So my position is, I would say it's like an active owner. That's my position. So in all of the companies with other shareholders as well, we have set up like really good teams. But I do believe that the owners of the company also need to have like a hands-on approach because oftentimes the top managers they need to have like a mirror where they can shoot ideas and get feedback if the direction they are going is the right direction, or if there should be some changes, or so it's like more on the strategic management front. That's where I'm involved. Saying this, I actually like to be involved. So I'm in the Trading Pit, as well. Like, I'm pretty involved with marketing, business development. I keep a close eye on the finances, even though we have like an amazing CEO in the company. I think she also like appreciates this, that there is like extra eyes that are looking at the companies, because with fast growing companies, you sometimes may miss certain opportunities or even risks on the market.
Yeah, that like I really respect what you're saying. That's definitely a very different approach, I would say. But don't you afraid that there will be like this part when you just won't be able to delegate, like when you would become a little bit like obsessed with all the decision making and won't be able to trust the team?
Yeah, I have this struggle all the time. So in both like the prop trading business and the brokerage business, for example, I really like talking to other traders. Like so, whenever we have on any front, like in the brokerage or the prop business, like so good trader, I just need to talk to this guy. I just want to talk to them. Like I wanna like understand if they are like happy with us. Talk about the markets, their strategies, and this is really my passion. And it takes away a lot of time. And but I just really want to do that, and I can't change myself. So and I think it's valuable for the companies as well, because when the owners of the companies are involved on the grassroots level, and traders is really having traders in a broker or in a prop firm, that's the the grassroots level, that's the base of the
Yes.
business. So and that's where the first hand information is coming. So I think it's probably like a cornerstone of our success as well, that the owners are involved there, that we are communicating with our end clients. We know what they are needing. We know what their like needs, struggles are, etc. I think it's really important.
Let's talk a little bit more about this, like last question regarding this subject. Do you remember, like you said that what you loved about business is that you can be independent, make your own decisions, and that's all right. But do you remember when there came a moment when you already couldn't like think of everything and make decisions about everything, and you had to hire people to make these decisions for you? How did you manage to let it go of you and allow somebody else make decisions on your businesses?
Letting go is difficult. It's super difficult, because it's when you're building companies, it's like it's your baby.
Yeah.
Like and how is it that like one day you just have to let it go, and you're not like so much in sync with the company, etc. But what I've learned over the experience as well is that in most of the businesses where I have like this C-level, the top level management, these guys are actually smarter than I am. They are faster than I am. And the value that they bring is higher than the value would be if I would fill these roles.
Mhm.
So it's just that the data has proven to me that it's just you have to do it, but sometimes it's still like it's difficult.
Well, let's move to the end. And in the end, I want to ask a more personal question related to your business personality. Would you say that starting your own businesses shaped you as a person, or you already were that person who was just made to run its own business?
I think it shapes you. I think environment in general, whether it's business or like work or it shapes you. And I think I have had like a really big impact from being an entrepreneur. And I think it gives you a different view of the world, that you start understanding that there is like a lot of diversity there. You have to respect the diversity, and you have to embrace it and actually use this diversity for your benefit, in
Mm-hmm.
terms of like people, ideas, like projects, etc. And I think entrepreneurship has made me more respectful towards things that are happening around me. It
Mm-hmm.
has lowered my ego. You
Wow.
know, I
Not
think
vice versa.
no, why exactly like this. It has lowered my ego, that you actually see that there are smarter people than you are. There are better ways than you thought of,
Mm.
and you have big part of success, not because of you, but actually other people around you, and you have to respect that, you have to value that, and embrace that.
In the retrospective, would you do something different in your business career?
Sometimes when when I'm at home in the evenings, I just think that wouldn't it be nice to be like a worker at some factory that produces bricks for this building, that you go to the factory at 8 in the morning, you start this brick machine, you leave this you stop the machine at 5 p.m., leave home, and you just leave everything at work. And whereas in my case, like whether I'm at work, at home, etc., I still have constantly like these thoughts in my head. Okay, whether like we have covered all the angles here and there, do we have some risk, are we capturing all the opportunities there? So the mind is constantly non-stop processing. So if I would go back, if I could go back in time, I would probably not start a brokerage company. Would maybe do something more simpler. But then it would, of course, mean that today I would not be the person I am.
We are,
So
yeah.
I would be a different person. So in general, I think I'm happy with the road I took in the past, and the experiences I have gained on that road. So.
And about the future, this was the past. Do you already think about future steps? Let's say, do you see yourself? Where do you see yourself in 10 years' time? That's probably a question you ask a lot people you hire. I know it's
Uh,
like basic, but
I really admire these guys. For example, I mentioned earlier Warren Buffett. So I think like still in the late 80s, the guy is working and is pushing forward. So I think the journey ahead is still like really long, and there are so many like opportunities still out there. Even with the trading bit,
Mhm.
it can be like something really big down the road, and it can provide a lot of value. And I just constantly have this motivation to go forward and to strive and to seize any opportunities out there, and but probably have more time for myself as well. So I don't do like 14-hour work days anymore. I do like maybe 7-8 hours a day, and rely a lot on the team.
Mhm.
And I think this is like having a great team is going to be the key also for me in the future.
So you want to like ideally cut down your working hours to like 4 a day, for example.
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay, my last question. Do you consider yourself a successful person? What is your attitude to success?
I don't consider myself successful, even though the companies have been very successful. But
I would say ChatGPT would argue with you, who calls you a prominent figure.
I would say that I'm fortunate to have been able to have all these like experiences and to reach to the levels where I am in the business as well. I don't consider myself successful. I think there's like more out there like that you can still achieve, because the moment you consider, okay, I'm a successful guy, like I've reached a success, maybe that's the moment you stop pushing forward.
Yeah, understand.
So I'm on the journey to become successful.
But you acknowledge your achievements.
Yeah.
Just to ask, what about this teenage dream? Gordon Gecko, huge office, New York outside the window. Will you still look for it?
So about the Wall Street movies, so those of you who have watched it, so there is a scene in the end of the first Wall Street movie. That's the best one, not second one, the first one, where Gordon Gecko is on this Central Park with Bud Fox on this greenery there. It's raining, and first time I went to New York, I actually went to this park. I walked around. I went to some of the buildings where the scenes were shot and the office space as well. And it was great feeling to know that I could today have the same office there, like on the same high-rise building with the same like nice view and like 4 phones and like 3 or 4 monitors and calls from New York and stuff. And I already have it, but it's not that I'm in New York.
Mm-hmm.
But pretty much I have achieved what I dreamed to achieve when I first time saw the movie.
That's very lucky, or it's just your hard work that paid off. That's great.
Or maybe both.
Or maybe both. Thank you, Illimar. That was extremely interesting. And thank you for watching this series with us. Subscribe to our channel to see more in the future. We'll stay here in touch.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thank you, Elena.